What is going on, everybody? It is episode 954 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here once again with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Happy Tuesday. Unfortunately, Tate is not joining us today, but that's fine. We don't need him anyways.
Big timing us as usual.
And we're in dangerous territory today because I told Brett, you know what? Why don't we just turn off subscribers only mode in the chat and just see what happens? I don't know why we have it on in the first place. I guess it's just like if you want to engage with the chat, it incentivizes you to subscribe to the channel.
Yes,
that makes enough sense to me. But I just wonder, like, what's the worst that could happen if we just do that for a day? I want to find out if the strangers are watching and they want to participate in the chat, and maybe it will convince them that they want to subscribe. We have a 20 from High Voltage 75. To Corey Anderson and all veteran crisis actors out there, I wish you a happy Veterans Day and thank you for your service. That is all. Wholesome chat.
Yes, indeed.
There. Happy Veterans Day.
Camelot is in the chat. He says, shout out to Brett Cake Dasovic. That's me.
What?
That's what they call me.
What does that mean?
Obviously.
I wasn't aware of this.
Like, stop sexualizing me. That's what you need to stop doing. You need to stop sexualizing me. I was just talking to Camelot.
Cakes.
And it looks, cakes. That's what they call me. So I think if all things work out properly, Camelot will be joining us hopefully next Thursday live in the studio, so that would be fantastic.
Asovic.
That's what they call me, you know.
How did no one ever say
Seriously,
that before?
like, y'all are slipping. That's what they call me. I mean, that's literally, so every time I would snack at home, I would take a picture and just put Fatsovic, but Asovic is just as good.
It's such an easy last name to do wordplay with.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it reminds me of my favorite comment that I got last week where a guy's like, yeah, I really like your skating, but I can't figure out if you're fat or thin, and it really pisses me off.
Like, why does it matter to him whether or not you're fat?
Yeah, so, you know, well, it's okay, because I was like, see, if I was as fat as I was last winter, I'd have been maybe a little bit concerned, but I'm like, bro, I'm down like 25 pounds, so, you know, you can say that all you want. Guys, hit the like button on this video, please, this live stream, and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already, please and thank you. Remember that on the weekends, I have been releasing a PCC weekend update bonus episode, so if you are listening to this right now and not just watching the PCC YouTube channel, that involves all sorts of content that you would not have heard during any of the episodes, which I'm always very happy to record my thoughts on various different things. So I hope you will check that out. I will be out of studio on Friday this week, but I've recorded a bunch of extra stuff, so I got here early. So there should still be an episode about as long or at the very least, hopefully full length, coming out this Saturday at 5 p.m. There's a bunch of stuff in there. I hope you'll check it out. And Mary has coffee.
Yes, I do. Go to castbrew.com, grab yourself a bag of Mary's Ghost Blend. If you haven't already, there is a Thanksgiving discount code, Turkey20 for 20% off. Just letting you know.
There you go. Camelot says Brett is in peak condition. That is
can confirm. Yeah.
Yes. You know.
Someone asked, did Brett post a thirst trap somewhere? Like, are we missing something? Because I didn't see that.
I mean, of course I did. Like, you just got to go find my.
Are all of your Instagram videos actually just veiled thirst traps?
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. Guys, like I said, hit the like button on this video. Subscribe to the channel. We got a bunch of stuff to get into. Number one, of course, being Zendaya v. Sweeney: Dawn of Justice, as the two Euphoria celebrities seem to be going at it, mostly, at least according to rumors. And again, this is, of course, rumors. I mean, that's what we love on this channel, when people are talking shit and we don't know whether it's real or not.
Put a question mark.
Put a question mark on it.
No matter what it is, just put a question mark.
There is some stuff up in the air about Zendaya perhaps being upset with Sydney Sweeney, because she has been making a row in the news lately with you know, the media asking her to disavow white supremacy in the most disingenuous manner ever possible. And Sydney Sweeney not taking the bait means that Zendaya might think that it's causing problems down the line for Euphoria Season 3 marketing. So we'll get into that.
We do have an update on the backlash to Christy. So there obviously is a lot of talk about the underperformance of her new movie, Christy, and why is that happening? Is it because of a leftist boycott? We talked about that yesterday, but now we're seeing, allegedly, emails from Sydney Sweeney's PR agents being sent out to all of these influencers and bloggers and outlets saying, like, can you maybe just change the wording on that headline and just make it like a little bit more positive about Sydney? And it's a bad look. It's a bad look.
It's a bad, but it's also a bad look for them to like publish those back end.
If you want to have good business relationships, you don't screenshot your business emails and post them on Twitter. But for the part of her PR agents, not a good look.
So we are going to get into that. We are also going to talk about Nike. Are they going to go the way of Bud Light? They have hired a non-binary furry gamer, pro gamer named Sonic Fox. And I love this because the conservative boycott. Oh, by the way, if you hear this behind me, what you don't know is behind my backdrop here is a chimney. And there's just a windstorm. It could have taken Mary's car clean off the road today if it had wanted to. But there's a lot of wind going on. So what you're hearing is like shuddering in the chimney here. It's very loud.
I don't think it's audible to the audience, though. I think
it's gonna make me double
so
step.
we're gonna be like distracted by huge crashing noises the entire episode.
It happened again today. I tell you guys, like every time I get here early in the morning. I get here early. Okay, I get here in the morning to record a video. I hit the record button. I hit the little timer thing on my Stream Deck. I pick the microphone up. I start talking. My phone goes.
Everyone wants to call you.
And then there's
Did I call you?
No. So my phone goes off. They're singing upstairs. Not their fault. They didn't know I was recording a video. It's not on them. And then the front door opens. And then literally I stop and everything stops. I start again. My phone goes off again with a different. It just went off again.
Just now?
Anyways,
the non-binary furry.
Is it going to be the conservative boycott of the century? Because it's two things that they're going to hate. They're going to hate the non-binaries and the furries, and they're definitely going to hate the idea that somebody could play video games for a living. They're going to say, go get a real job. So the conservatives are going to be pissed. So we're going to talk about that. Also, the women are tearing each other apart for Starbucks barista cups.
Now, don't be dishonest. I saw fight videos within Starbucks between grown-ass men for this limited edition Starbucks cup.
That's even more embarrassing.
It is even more embarrassing.
Really
this is why people say men used to go to war, because now they're going to war over Starbucks cups.
The desire to fight other human beings is innate. They can't help themselves.
Why do people love cups so much?
Be it for the soul of a nation or a Starbucks cup.
Why do people like special cups so much? That's so embarrassing.
Gosh. Who knows? We may never know.
They like these special themed cups. That's so lame.
Yeah, Mary gets a pass. Mary gets a pass because I bought her that cup for Christmas last year.
So I was stirring my straw in my Stanley recently and it snapped in half. So I thought maybe this means it's time to retire the Stanley and bring out the Hello Kitty cup. But both were gifts. The Stanley cup was a gift. I would have never spent $70 on a cup. And this is also a gift from Brett, which I very much appreciate.
Yep. So we've got that. We got a lot of other stuff to get into today. I do want to draw your attention. I did make a video today about Billy Bob Thornton telling actors to stop talking about politics. And I made a cheeky thumbnail, if you will, a cheeky title. But I do encourage you all to go check that video out because it's got a very low rating right now because nobody watched the video. They just downvoted it. Also, coming out tomorrow, I did a video on the announcement for a V for Vendetta TV series, which will bring us to levels of on the nose that may never have been seen before in Hollywood, given the discussion of fascism. So you should check that out. And again, I will be gone on Friday this week. There still will be a weekend update, but Alex will be sitting in my seat, and then we're going to be figuring out Monday as well.
It's going to be a girl show on Friday.
Yep, all the girls coming together for Girl Talk. All right, if you're ready, we can go. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go for it.
New photos of Billie Eilish have prompted a discussion about this expression she's always wearing on her face, where she is performatively bored, aloof, dead in the eyes. And it seems like it's something she's putting on for the sake of her brand or persona. So she does this thing where her eyes are constantly drooping and she's trying to appear tired, over it. You can see in these photos, this is the quintessential Billie Eilish look.
She looks like she's about to do the Undertaker thing where she rolls her eyes into the back of her head and says, rest in peace, but...
Yeah, it's actually becoming relatively ubiquitous amongst stars her age, specifically women her age in Hollywood. When they're on red carpets, they refuse to smile or pose. They kind of just pull this look, and it's supposed to be cool.
Is it supposed to just be aloof?
Detached.
Is it supposed to be aloof? They're you don't whatever you say doesn't bother me. And then you have her at that award show last week where she sounds like she's on a bunch of codeine.
A lot of people
she looks
think
like she's
drugs are the
drinking syrup.
explanation.
Yeah, like she's drinking purple drink, and she's like, why are you like a billionaire like?
You have more money than me, so you should give your money
You should give
away.
your money away
to poor people. So this viral reply said, I need everyone to stop doing this nonsense with their eyes, which then turned into a discourse in and of itself about whether women are unfairly expected to smile all the time when it's not authentically how they feel.
Well,
and, Cillian Murphy doesn't get a bunch of hate for appearing the same way. When he's doing public appearances, he always has the same look on his face, and he has those large eyelids. It's like the senpaku eyes, I believe that's what it's called, where the whites of one's eyes are visible from the lower part.
Yeah. She looks like she's kind of it actually looks hard to see. Part of the eye is actually behind the eyelid and she's not able to look at what she's doing.
One of our friends of the show, Jamie, said, I'm sorry, you can't have eyes that sit in your sockets like this without being exceptionally depressed or exceptionally evil. They're windows to the soul, after all. And when one of the replies suspected that drugs are involved, she said, that's not even what drugs do to your eyes. It's not that her eyes are bloodshot or unfocused. She's deliberately glazing them over so they communicate lifelessness and disinterest.
It's actually not true because your eyelids can definitely droop from drug use. I get what she's saying. She doesn't have the pinpricks or the saucers for eyeballs, but that's not necessarily the truth. And plus, does anybody really believe we live in a world where the celebrities are like, whoa, no drugs on the red carpet? I want to be clear-headed.
I think that smiling is important for both men and women in society. If we want society to not be a living hell, I think we should smile at each other more. And I just saw this clip of a podcast where it's hosted by one Gen Z and one millennial. And then the Gen Zer said she DoorDashes all of her food because she doesn't want to interact with people. And the millennial said, well, this is why your generation is losing any sense of community, because you refuse to interact with strangers. And the Gen Zer was rolling her eyes, this is so unimportant. Why do I need to talk to people or look at people? It is important. It is important. And that's the millennial was correct.
That's coming from me, who is, look, Olivia is a far more social person than me. So I'll tell you a story. We have a Family Dollar by us. We have a Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, and a Dollar General. We frequent all of these establishments. I avoid the Family Dollar because there's a guy who...
It's a family.
No. There's a guy who works there. He's probably a very nice guy. It's a franchise store. But when you go in there, he doesn't just want to have a conversation with you. He wants to sit down and talk about Keynesian economics and everything. He will talk to you for 20 minutes if you don't ease your way out of the conversation somehow. And I'm even talking with a line there. He will hold up the line to continue to talk to you. Now I on its face, I can appreciate that because he's trying to connect with the people that work, that come to his store, assuming that this is the guy who runs the store, he owns the store, whatever, it's a franchise. But for me, I just can't. And when I worked at convenience stores for many, several years. And I liked that job a lot, and it required you to be polite and smile to every employee or every customer that came in. But the reason I liked it is because there is a natural clock on the length of that conversation that normal people can figure out.
I have a story of my own.
But your eyes should still give off an air of warmth and an invitation to people that are coming into your space. Yes, absolutely.
I frequent this coffee shop that is not a chain. It's owned by a small business, and there are regulars who really get a kick out of being regulars there. They really love identifying as a regular, to the point where the last time I was at this coffee shop, I was waiting in line for these two women, and they were just making small talk with the barista for 2 minutes before they even started thinking about what to order, while I was standing right there. And I admittedly was perturbed by that. We need to be more efficient, but sometimes just being polite and customer service comes at the expense of bare efficiency. Hence why customer service is in the gutter right now. Gen Z doesn't seem to have the same definition of customer service that prior generations do. And this is why Target is implementing a new policy in their stores where their employees are mandated to smile at and start conversations with customers as of November 10th.
I agree
staff
with
members.
I agree with the smile part. I don't necessarily agree with the conversation part based on like the distance they said you had to be from that person.
Yeah, so they say, according to the new policy, if staff members are within 4 feet of customers, they must personally greet the guests, smile, and initiate a warm, helpful interaction. How about we only have this during Christmas season?
Yeah.
How about that? But yeah, I thought we could have a happy medium here where like you're not a soul-sucking, depressive, just like nuisance as an employee, but you can also like not bother me and ask me if I need anything every 30 seconds.
I would like to think that when I work, and I did work at Target back in the day, many, many years ago now, that would have been like 20, my gosh, that would have been 20 years ago now when I started at Target. And I'd like to think that I was friendly all the time. I wasn't a cashier. I worked in the photo lab back in the day, you know, when you had to print your pictures out. Saw some shit. And I'd like to think that I was polite to everybody. But I bet you there were some days where, at the very least, my face didn't convey necessarily the happiest tone. But I'd like to believe that I smiled to everybody when they came in.
So their executive VP told USA Today that we know when our guests are greeted, feel welcome to get the help they need. That translates to guest love and loyalty. Heading into the holidays, we're making adjustments and implementing new ways to increase connection during the most important time of the year by our team. So maybe this is only for Christmas season and not the rest of the year. I just think it's telling that they even need to put a policy like this in writing. Yes. Because it used to be just assumed that if you're in a customer service role, you would be polite to people. But that's that's not an unspoken rule anymore.
I think I wrote a tweet and didn't post it about like I had a really good interaction with like the Target customer service, the woman who was working Target customer service recently, because I go there to exchange. I have a soda stream at home, you know, the thing so you can make, and you exchange the tanks there. And we had a very, very positive, polite and cordial interaction. It was like just the right length too, like got out of there right in time. And I was like writing something about it. I might have not posted it, but it is true. Good customer service is worth its weight in gold to corporations because you will internalize how you felt while you were there.
Yes. I think that this goes back to our conversation about Gen Z not having common sense. Politeness used to be common sense, but it's not anymore. They don't have common sense because primarily they were raised in the first generation where adults felt that it wasn't their job to parent other people's children. That's my theory, at least.
I think it's got more to do with so when I was growing up, the amount of money that a corporation like Target brought in wasn't relevant. What was relevant is that you took pride in whatever job you were doing because hopefully your family taught you to take pride in your work, whatever that job was. Now people have an issue with corporations making the money they do, so they don't feel the need to actually perform their job well. They only feel the need to do the bare minimum. And that's from my generation also being like abused by people who were mean to them at these jobs and they were just trying to do their job.
Were you abused at Target?
I mean, there was people that yelled and stuff like that. It didn't happen.
Photo lab?
It didn't happen to me, but I saw it happen at the customer service. But the thing is one thing that the average person, especially if they've never worked one of those jobs, will ever understand is like they go there and they yell at you because you can't help them, and they say, "I'm never coming back here again." And if you've never worked or if you've never worked for a company like that, you have no idea how little that means to somebody who's making however much an hour. Like unless it's the owner, unless it's the owner of the company or shareholders, that means exactly zero to somebody who's just trying to do their job.
Maybe the manager, but not even that is a guarantee anymore. And you're not just met with indifference and aloofness by employees now, but outright hostility, as you can see in this example at a Verizon store, where 5 employees at this store are yelling at the customer.
Yeah. Like that back there. Not sure if they heard that.
Tell me if you guys in the chat, can you tell us if you heard that?
Yep. Okay. Also, guys, let me know, do you think that this is a staged video or do you think this is real?
Standing, doing nothing. 5 people standing, doing nothing. Doing shit. 5 people doing nothing. Look at it. 5 people doing nothing. I paid $500 for this shit. No one's helping shit. They're just standing, walking around, doing nothing. No customers. 5 people. I asked for help. No one came to help. All they're doing is just standing in their iPads doing nothing. Look at them.
I love the tiny tone of despair in his voice.
Yo, shut the fuck up. You crying.
Look at him. Look at
Why
him.
you crying like a little
Nobody's
kid?
helping. Nobody's helping.
Like, shut the fuck up. They
I pay
they
for his
already
buzz.
told you they're not going to help you.
Okay? But it's my money.
Okay, so
So that was an employee saying, "Sir, can you shut the F up?"
it's 100% plausible that this dude did something to bring this on. It's hard to believe that he just walked into a store and 5 people were like, nah, fuck this guy specifically.
But we've all had the experience of
Yes.
walking into a business and the employee acts confused as to why you're there.
Like, why are you here?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I would expect that at the post office,
Yeah.
not at, a coffee shop.
I don't actually expect. I would actually be suspicious if the guy at the post office was a little bit too into his job. Like, I expect working for a government job to kind of drain you of your will to live in a lot of ways. I feel like the guy at the post office who has the least light behind his eyes is probably the most efficient and good at his job.
But we came to expect that at the DMV and at the post office, not at a place of business.
Yeah.
And now that's just the ubiquitous type of interaction you're gonna receive.
The guy's gonna have to quit and go over to a different cell phone provider if he wants to get good service there. It is crazy that they got 5 people working. Like, that must be like a busy city center to need 5 people at that store, right?
With their iPads.
They're all just sitting there.
Every business has every employee carrying an iPad now.
Corn Pop in the chat says he's a mailman. I hope that's actually true. I hope he actually listens to us well. I hope you're not just a mailman, but one of the ones who delivers on foot, and that you listen to us while you're doing that.
I don't think
that
there
would be
are
awesome.
any of those anymore.
There is in my neighborhood.
Really?
Absolutely, yeah.
Interesting.
Yep. There's 2 of them in my neighborhood because basically I'm guessing that there's like a line in what part of the neighborhood that they service. So it's the same lady who's always down the block, and then the same guy who's always on my side. So.
Haven't seen that
Yep.
in a while.
All right, let's move on.
So there is an ongoing discussion in Hollywood about intimacy coordinators. Some stars are pro, others are against it. Most of the stars who are against intimacy coordinators are from the older generations, which didn't have them for the majority of their careers. The younger stars are very much in favor of this role. And Florence Pugh is one of them. She recently spoke about having both negative and positive experiences with intimacy coordinators on movies, but she didn't name which ones. And this was from her recent appearance on the Louis Theroux podcast. She said in this interview, it's not to get in the way. It's not to confuse. It's not to make things more complicated or make things more awkward. I've had good ones and bad ones. And she says it's a job that is still figuring itself out since they have existed for such a short period of time, post Me Too. I'm having fantastic experiences with intimacy coordinators. However, I've also had a shit example where someone just made it so weird and awkward and really wasn't helpful and kind of was just wanting to be part of the set in a way that wasn't helpful. I think it's a job that's still figuring itself out. I will say I've been able to understand better meaning now through working with great ones in sex scenes about finding the story of what it is. What kind of sex is it? How do you touch each other? How long have you been having sex for? Everybody's just kind of working away to chip at the scene. And I think when I worked with a fantastic coordinator, I was like, oh, this is what I've been missing. Understanding the dance of intimacy as opposed to just shooting a sex scene.
It actually
there
feels
are good
like
ones and bad ones, and it's through the good ones that I've learned how effective it can be. It can really be.
Okay, I'm just going to go through like the metrics of this, which is like, unless you're telling me that you're just letting the coordinator interpret the script their own way, it's just their own interpretation of how it's written. Mm-hmm. Correct? So I don't understand why that perspective would be any different if what they're doing is interpreting what is written on the page as how they're going to advise you to do it. I guess it's just another lens to which to look at the interaction through, but that doesn't really seem like the point of it to me. The point of it is to prevent lawsuits.
Right.
Let's be real.
She thinks that they're there to enhance the art, which is not the case. That's not the reason why those people are on set.
If this was the early 2000s, we'd get a parody movie about a male intimacy coordinator, you know. That's what would happen. And everybody thinks he's a creep, but at the end he'd turn out to be gay.
We know that most of the intimacy coordinators are female.
Yes. I mean, I think it was like 0.1% are male, and I don't even know if I believe that. It's probably actually somebody who, has a different gender considers themselves a different gender than what they were assigned at birth.
Regrettably, both of us have seen Florence Pugh's nipples.
Unfortunately.
I would have preferred to never see them.
She looks like a bottle with the honey bear on it. The bottle of honey.
Yeah, that was in Oppenheimer. Her sex scenes with Cillian Murphy in Oppenheimer were deemed incredibly necessary for the plot.
They were not.
When they were not, the argument in favor of those scenes was it's supposed to communicate his anxiety while he's in the interrogation room, and he's sort of hallucinating almost flashbacks to when he was having sex with her character, and it makes him feel vulnerable while he's being interrogated in those scenes. I still don't think that needed to be included in the movie, but I'm assuming that she wasn't referencing Oppenheimer when she mentioned those negative experiences. Gwyneth Paltrow and Jennifer Lawrence are two other actresses who recently made headlines saying that they felt the intimacy coordinators on set were not necessary. Gwyneth Paltrow was more forthcoming about that. She just thinks that the concept is laughable. Jennifer Lawrence said both positive and dismissive things about intimacy coordinators on her movie with Robert Pattinson. I think those were comments that got widely misinterpreted. And in another clip from this same interview with Louis Theroux, Florence Pugh is complaining about how, as an actress, you can't stand up for yourself on set when the director is being emotionally abusive, because it's going to get you labeled hard to work with or a nightmare. And she's had to rely on male co-stars to stand up for her instead because they receive more respect.
On set, you can't really be a problem because people will say that you're a nightmare.
Really?
And I remember I was doing like a crying scene, and we did it maybe like 6 times, and each time you have to start with no tears and then gear up. So it's like you have to stay in it. And we got it, and the director wanted to go again.
6 times.
He did it 6 times. And when I'm in that state, I'm a bit mushy, so I'm like, okay, we'll do it again. And my co-star went up to the director and said, don't do that, man. Don't put her through that. She's got it. We got it. You got the close-up, you got the wide. Don't do that. And I realized when I was in the tent, I was like, oh, I wouldn't have been able to have said that because that wouldn't have been received well.
Interesting. Was your co-star male or female?
Yeah, male.
Male. Nice that he did that.
Yeah.
And do you think that was the right thing to do?
If they had it, they had it.
Yeah. What did the director say?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Straight away.
So here's the thing. You're never going to know what would have happened if you stood up for yourself instead of the co-star standing up for you. You don't know that it would have been received poorly.
Correct.
You're just assuming that because of your worldview.
You're imprinting on the situation.
Yeah. And Louis Theroux was just sitting there being the ultimate performative male, like, oh my gosh, that must have been so hard for you.
I mean, that's his job in those situations. Those types of podcasts are not, he's not there to push back and be like, well, actually, like, this isn't hard-hitting journalism. It's like when people get mad when Joe Rogan doesn't push back enough. I'm like, bro, like, is that what you expect him to do?
I bet her male co-star also carries tampons in his bag.
The ultimate, and he carries feminist literature in his bag.
Jennifer Lawrence opened up recently about her different experiences with male and female directors. She actually was singing the praises of the director of Die My Love, Lynn Ramsey, saying that male directors have a tendency to micromanage sets, and they're quite authoritarian and are obsessed with involving themselves very heavily in scenes.
In the job of directing, yes, they
whereas
are.
she says female directors, they tend to take a step back and let things play out without getting involved. She said, I found a commonality in female directors, which is that they don't do this thing, which is over-direct. There have been some times when I've worked with male directors where there's this need to constantly feel like they're directing the movie. Wow, it's crazy that a director would want to feel like they're directing the movie. And it's not even really getting anything done. It's just annoying. When I think auteur, my mind goes to controlling and neurotic. And she said Lynn Ramsey was the opposite of that approach. She built this world and made sure we were all on the same page through music and conversations and the atmosphere and the set. And then she would just kind of slowly walk back. And sometimes from the discomfort of that, from the lack of her visibility, something interesting would come from it. And she would come out and be like, that's great. Yeah, do it again. Or we would accidentally laugh and be like, oh, sorry. And she'd be like, no, it was great. I like that you laughed. Do it again.
So I guess the question is, what does an actor prefer? Do they want more direction or less direction? And when it comes down to it, it's going to be on the director to pull those performances from the actor. So if you watch a movie and it's over directed and they get the exact shots they want, but the director is interpreting the script poorly, that's one problem. It's another problem entirely for a director to just be like, figure it out. Now, I'll give you an example of where it worked in television. So Graham Yost, who did Justified, he was, from what I've read or what I did my research on the show, because I love that show, he was very collaborative with the actors, giving them time to ad-lib and run with scenes in specific ways, leaning into their strengths. That's how you ended up getting Boyd Crowder, who's like a legendary bad guy now. Walton Goggins, that's the role that kind of, maybe it's not the one that made him famous, but a lot of people will always know him as that character. And that's because he leaned into the actor's strengths and gave them room to work. On a film set, that's not really, like, you have to be a bit of an authoritarian because you don't just have the actor's performances to consider, you have time. You have budget. You have, like, if we go over, if we don't get this done by this time, we don't have, we're going to be into overtime and we're going to have to pay people more. Like, there is more to consider than just how the actor performs on screen, though that is perhaps the most important part of it. A lot of it goes into it, and the studio is going to want somebody that can return the performance that they want from the actors. And the less opaque it is, the more of a problem it will be if they don't know what they're getting every day.
My interpretation of both of these remarks from Florence Pugh and Jennifer Lawrence is that whatever style of directing it is, it's the incorrect way if it's a man, and it's correct if it's a woman.
No, I think they would actually like it if they were like, oh, and he was so collaborative. They want him to be collaborative. They don't want him to tell them what they're supposed to do, because that's a certain type of actor is the one who's going to be like, we didn't want to be told what to do. We wanted to all figure it out together. That's not every actor.
Well,
there are plenty of actors who are like, I need to know what you want from me in this scene.
I say that because in regard to the intimacy coordinator, which is just another director on set, really.
Yes.
They want to be micromanaged. But then in regard to the other scenes, they want the director to be almost invisible. And it doesn't really matter what the director is doing. If it's a woman, they're doing the right thing. And if it's a man, they're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, perhaps. It's, I'm waiting for when more female-led movies end up being like rousing successes that will continue. I will continue to sing the praises of Catherine Bigelow, who did a great job as a director long before it became fashionable to attach them to projects because they were women, because it was a male-dominated industry when she was making, for the length of time she was making movies. It wasn't during this overcorrection in 2020 when TV shows are like, all our episodes are going to be directed by women. Mm-hmm. Or all our episodes are going to be written by women and things like that, and expecting you to return something that's interesting to everybody when you're hiring on those practices, which nobody actually wants.
I recently saw a post that was calling out Sam Levinson for essentially stealing Euphoria from Petra Collins.
I don't know who that is.
Petra Collins is a female director, but
okay.
She put out this photo shoot on her Instagram. Sam Levinson reached out and he was like, I love this. Like, I want to develop a show with you for HBO based on this. And Petra Collins worked on it with them for months, and they created the entire concept of Euphoria. And then they, at the end of it, said, well, we don't want to work with you anymore, to Petra Collins, because you're not experienced enough as a director. And then they just had Sam Levinson direct it.
I mean, it does matter that they hire somebody who knows what they're doing. Like, I guess the way
I feel like Petra Collins had her concept stolen.
She
by
probably
Sam
did.
Levinson,
but the problem is like they're spending untold millions of dollars on these projects, just obscene amounts of money dumped into projects that you've never even heard of. And then you wonder why they why they should want to hire people with experience, because they need that. That was my problem with the V for Vendetta show that they're making. And for that, you'll have to watch the video tomorrow. But they hired this guy whose name was Pete Jackson. And I'm like, oh my God, Peter Jackson from Lord of the Rings? Holy crap. No, it's a guy named Pete Jackson who directed, yeah, I know, poor guy.
Just Pete.
He directed 2 shows that I'd never heard of. They were probably British shows on networks there. And I'm like, I feel like if you're going to direct the TV version of a movie like V for Vendetta, that you should have at least 10 to 20 credits under your name that signal to someone at DC that this project is in good hands.
So, in reference to the Petra Collins thing, she said that she moved to LA for 5 months to develop Euphoria for HBO.
That's rough,
And
man.
then, and it was initially pitched to her from Sam Levinson, you're going to direct it.
That's rough.
And she created the whole world for it. She did the casting, and last minute HBO was like, we're not hiring you because you're too young. And she said, thank you, accepted it, moved on. And then she assumed that they would not continue developing the show. But then a year later, she says, I walked out of my apartment and saw this billboard, and it's exactly a copy of my work. I started crying. I was so shocked. It happens to me so many times in my career, but not on a scale like that. It was so intense because this is the aesthetic that I had built all my life, and now I have to change it because it enters into the mainstream. It's been taken away from me. The worst thing was when people were unknowingly saying, this show looks like your photos.
How old was he? Or was she? I'm sorry.
At the time, when did Euphoria come out? 2019?
Sounds about right.
I wonder how old Petra Collins is now.
Reminds me of
She's 32 now, so she was still in her mid-20s.
So yeah, okay. So if you don't know who Josh Schwartz is, Josh Schwartz was the creator of The OC. And he's gone on to make like a lot of those types of teen drama or romance shows that women love. He's one of the minds that's likely behind many of the ones that you've seen. And he got the job creating The OC at the age of 26. And that was a huge deal at that time because he was the youngest showrunner. And to this day, one of the things they talk about, if you listen to channels that love to go deep into film lore, is like people expect to just come to Hollywood today and be a showrunner. Like, no, like you were expected in the past that you'd have 20 or 30 years of experience in the industry before they put hundreds of millions of dollars in front of you and said, create this. It sucks that they stole her idea. They probably did that because they probably knew from the beginning that she wasn't going to do it and they just wanted the concept.
Yeah.
But them's the breaks, and she should have unfortunately hired a lawyer that could do some type of guarantee, and if they were going to balk at the guarantee, then she walks away with her concept.
Right.
But
right.
yeah, I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of that story, but I feel bad for her. But in that industry, you should not be looking for showrunners that are in their 20s, because if one ends up being good, that will be the exception and not the rule. There is a reason why Vince Gilligan is now one of the most sought after minds in entertainment. Before Breaking Bad, which is of course the cultural phenomenon that it was, he was doing the X-Files and not as the showrunner back in I don't know if he started in 1993, but he was one of the most important voices on the X-Files, and we're going all the way back to the early 90s. So you need the experience and you need the time there, but it's almost like it doesn't matter anymore because there's just so much garbage that they have to put out every year. Like, why not give Dead End Paranormal Park to Hamish Steele because nothing fucking matters.
Right. There's an oversaturation.
Yeah. All right. What would you like to see? Cringe or cute of the day?
Let's see the cute first.
Okay.
Today.
Somebody in the chat, Captain K, says Pluribus is good. I have not seen it. As you know, I boycott Apple TV on principle that I'm not an art nerd. So I don't want to get shoved in a locker, so I can't watch Apple TV.
Someone in the chat said Breaking Bad is overrated.
That's
I don't feel it's overrated.
That's a pretty hot take still to this day.
Yeah, I think it is appropriately rated, in my opinion.
If Mary likes it, it must be like the best thing that was ever made. Considering we all know how much Mary.
I'm picky.
She's very picky.
Yeah, let's start with the cutes.
This one is from Deadman. He says, this has been a close encounter of Raya and Indy. Raya left shortly after these photos were taken. Shockingly, no hisses happened.
Aww.
Yeah, so our
Very
cats,
cute.
I saw yesterday. So Mocha was on the bed, and what Toast always does, she just follows them around and stares at them like a creep. Toast is a little bit creepy sometimes. We love her, but she's creepy. And Mocha launches herself off the bed and over Toast. It was amazing. It was like, she was like a superhero for that minute. And then Toast, of course, ran after her.
You
One
named
more?
your cat after that celebrity dating app.
Raya, yeah. All right, cringe of the day.
So, okay, I have to explain
Preface.
this. This is a commercial. This is an ad. I didn't realize it at first, but this is an ad. And
Okay.
I don't understand how this is going to convince anyone to buy their product, but here you go.
It's for something called Belly Welly Health.
Yeah.
Nothing matters anymore. Here we go.
Megan Fox. I'm so sorry to bother you. Are you Megan Fox?
Yeah.
I'm like so nervous right now. I'm just gonna put a scoop of Belly Welly into your cup.
She just dumped white powder into her drink.
Into pregnant Megan Fox.
Is this a prank?
No. No, it's not.
Just poisoned my drink.
No, it's like a fiber powder. I'm so nervous right now. You are like so pretty. It's at like Walmart and Target.
Belly Welly daily fiber and probiotics.
Yeah, you just like put a scoop in your cup.
Plus collagen, so it's for your skin too. But are you gonna buy me a new shot? I want to believe in you, but I'm not sure.
Honestly, add it to your water tomorrow. You will love it.
I'm gonna look this up and make sure this is real.
She's like, and I'm going to buy my own so I know that because I'm not going to open the one that the random stranger holding the
Like,
phone gave
I'm
me.
sorry, just the fact that this is a scripted, planned advertisement for an actual product is crazy to me.
I would like to think
like
that
the concept of the commercial is we're roofing Megan Fox in public.
I also would like to think that she kind of like double took on some of the words there on purpose because she's such a good actress that to make it sound more real, she didn't deliver all of the lines perfectly.
Right.
She's like, this is like
This is a
for your
professional job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that's the point of marketing now is to make stuff feel as unlike marketing as possible.
I guess so, yeah.
I mean, it's like something has to short circuit your brain so that not everything feels like a a Gen Z social media manager posting something.
You mind if I just pour this random white powder into your drink?
Remember when Burger King released that scholarship for women chefs and it ran with the name Women Belong in the Kitchen?
Yeah.
Those were good times.
When was that?
A
It wasn't
couple
that
years-
long ago.
It wasn't that long ago.
They knew what they were doing with that.
It was
I think they knew.
what was the WNBA? They had a WNBA one that was similar this year. I forget what it was, but there was another one. Oh, it was Let Her Cook.
Oh, yeah. Creating controversy is marketing now, sadly.
Yeah, it is. And then, but the thing is, then they're like, they took down the ad. So it's like, why did you court that? Why did you, obviously you quote unquote wanted that smoke. Why did you
Right.
do it and then backtrack on
Right.
it? That's just embarrassing. All right, let's move on.
So, as people are dissecting the failure of Sydney Sweeney's new movie, Christie, there are multiple theories as to why it underperformed so historically badly in the box office. And Sydney Sweeney's PR team is not doing her any favors as all of this coverage is coming out. They are now allegedly emailing random bloggers and outlets trying to convince them to take down their negative posts about the movie or reword them. This is one that's posted by Eric Italiano, who is a culture writer at this outlet called Bro Bible. He said he got this PR email today, never got one like it before. Her team's down bad. And in the screenshot, this PR agency, which by the way is called Paradigm, and I did confirm this is her talent agency. They say, "Hi, Eric. Would you please mind updating the headline for us to say that despite low box office, the audience has spoken? We are 99% positive on the popcorn meter. Box office aside, this one's a win in all the ways that matter. We're so proud to back independent cinema and share a story that genuinely deserves to be seen." And this was a quote tweet of the discussing film post that said, Sydney Sweeney has defended the movie. "We are in it for impact, not the numbers," she said.
Which is, of course, half true and half cope.
You did not win in all the ways that matter if you
No.
didn't make money.
It's also, look, so people were over the weekend, people were asking questions as to why it felt like there was this all-out onslaught campaign for Predator Badlands, because it like did mildly better than they expected it to. It felt like you were getting like the full brunt of every access media site to talk about how it was the greatest, most profitable, biggest opening weekend for a Predator movie ever, of course, because movie ticket prices in 1987 cost like 50 cents. And people are like, it feels kind of manufactured. Now, was it? I don't know. I didn't pay close attention to it. And I actually, from what I've seen, a lot of people did really, really like the movie, far more than they were expecting to. But, the human mind, especially if you read a lot online, you have an ear for when it feels like it's getting to be a bit fake.
And I do think a lot of the negative press around Christie's flop is manufactured because of people's existing bias against Sydney Sweeney. However,
because they would shifted the blame to you, the audience, for not going to see it and supporting important work.
But when Kristen Stewart, for instance, has her own lesbian boxing movie that flops, and she says something like, it's about the art, not the numbers, we're right to call out that BS. And similarly, when Sydney Sweeney has her lesbian boxing movie that flops, and she says, we're in it for the impact, not the numbers, that's also BS.
That's okay. So I'm going to address this comment. This is from the Destroyer Troll Trolls. He says, why are YouTubers so obsessed with the box office? I remember a time when people only cared about the quality of a movie. I miss those days. I feel ya. I understand, but I think in today's day and age, when it comes to having these discussions, people have shifted the goalposts so far. We're literally talking about something about it right here, where the publicist is trying to get them to shift the perspective on how a movie is being marketed or shown to the public by the people reporting on it. And in today's day and age, when everything was like venture capital and now everything's going straight to streaming, the last real fully tangible means you have for knowing whether the public really resonates with an idea or not is whether you can get people to go out of the comfort of their own homes, spend a good amount of money, because I will not accept the argument that you can get an AMC movie pass for however much a month. Doesn't matter. Most families aren't doing that. Can they part with $100 of their money plus food and gas to go drive to the theater and see a movie? Like, that is important. It is important to know whether it's made enough of an impact on people to get them to do something that's very difficult, which is to, spend their money and give their time rather than just, throwing it up on streaming and then commenting on it later. I think that's one of the reasons why is numbers are more tangible, and it allows people to break down. First of all, we talk about funny money in Hollywood all the time. Stuff gets moved around to different columns. You never know really whether a movie was profitable or not. But talking about those numbers is kind of a good floor. It's a good baseline to have that discussion. But you should also keep your discussions about the concept of a movie or the impact of a movie, or in this case, the message of a movie. That should be a completely separate discussion, and you can have them together as long as you show that they're distinct things that both matter, and then you can kind of give your perspective in there. But it's a part of being balanced towards it.
Yeah,
at least in my opinion.
You can't really divorce the art from the commerce aspect.
Yeah, at least not in today's day and age.
And sadly, you can't divorce the art from the artist, as all of these people who hate Sydney Sweeney are trying to come up with more reasons to shit on this movie. One of them is at Brian Long Films on X. He posted this meme that said, white supremacists when they realize they have to watch white women in movies. And he's kind of making fun of the target demographic for Sydney Sweeney's public persona, not supporting her work. And he then replied with a screenshot allegedly from Sydney Sweeney's PR team as well, emailing him. He said, no shot, Sydney Sweeney's PR is trying to do damage control for this tweet. I'm crying. In the email, it says, hi, Brian, reaching out on behalf of Sydney Sweeney and the Christie team. Your derogatory tweet unfairly paints our film in negative light, even though it has a 99% audience score on the popcorn meter and a strong rave review for Sydney's performance. It's disappointing to see a genuine original project reduced to such cheap shots online. We'd appreciate more balanced thought next time, especially toward original cinema.
Cry
Best
hard or loser.
Paradigm Talent Agency. I don't know if we're to believe that both of these emails are doctored screenshots. I think that they are probably in code red right now and responding in the way they should not.
Yeah.
And Sydney Sweeney's post, in case you missed it yesterday, was trying to do damage control as well for the underperformance. She said, proud of the film that David made, proud of the story we told, proud to represent someone as strong and resilient as Christy Martin. This experience has been one of the greatest honors of my life. This film stands for survival, courage, and hope. Through our campaigns, we've helped raise awareness for so many affected by domestic violence. We all signed on to this film with the belief that Christy's story could save lives. Thank you to everyone who saw, felt, and believed and will believe in this story for years to come. If Christy gave even one woman the courage to take her first step towards safety, then we'll have succeeded. So yes, I'm proud. Why? Because we don't always just make art for numbers, we make it for impact. And Christy has been the most impactful project of my life. So, yeah, she's basically saying that the impact can somehow be divorced from the commercial success of the film, which makes no logical sense. If the story is that impactful and important, you would want as many people as possible to see it, and they didn't come out to see it. That's the unfortunate reality of the matter. And now people are clapping back to compare her box office track record with that of Zendaya, who, you know, admittedly did have a head start on Sydney Sweeney in her career, having come off of the Disney pipeline, and she was the biggest star in Euphoria the beginning of the show.
This is not a comparison of them. It's a comparison of project choice.
So for clarity, Sydney Sweeney's most successful movie, and I believe only successful movie in the box office so far in her career, has been Anyone But You, the rom-com with Glenn Powell.
What was the opening weekend on that one? Can you look it up?
I don't recall. Let me look it up.
Yeah.
But they compared this with a few of Zendaya's box office opening weekends.
Yeah. First of all, she is not the lead of Dune nor of Spider-Man, so nah, no.
But the other one was Challengers, which is a better comparison with
opening to $15 million, yes.
Which was made on a $55 million budget and made $96 million worldwide.
Even then, still lost money.
Still not profitable.
But the problem with that is those are radically different tones in movies. In fact, Challengers would be closer to an Anyone But You in tone than Christy, which is a biopic. Biopic is its own genre.
Domestically, Anyone But You grossed $6 million on the opening weekend.
But it grossed how much total?
Let me see.
See if it legs out.
I believe it made worldwide $220 million.
Okay. So
on a budget of $25 million.
So it made more with a smaller budget than Challengers did, likely because of the off-screen, drama surrounding her and Glenn Powell.
But similarly, you could credit Glenn Powell's star power with that, especially if we're talking about 2023 when she was less well known.
I mean, Running Man isn't they've lowered the projections on Running Man. That's not necessarily looking to open as well as they thought it was going to.
One of these replies said it was a movie, Challengers, marketed as her having a three-way on screen.
Yep.
A sequel to a star-studded movie she had a small role in Dune, and a Marvel movie with 3 iterations of the biggest superhero in the world.
And I'm going to let you...
She had an even smaller role than Dune. But yeah, you sure showed her.
And I will let you in on a little secret. And I mean this is no bias against Zendaya, because as I've told you lately, I'm Team Zendaya all the way. She seems to be, she seems to have that ability to keep quiet and, let the work do the talking and whatever. She's got her private life private with Tom Holland, which I appreciate. But if we're being honest, 2 of the strongest critiques of both the Spider-Man franchise and the Dune franchise are her characters. Mm-hmm. Whether you agree with that or not, it would be disingenuous to say that people don't have a critique of Chani or of, MJ.
Yeah.
Because she looks like she's constantly smelling something bad and like she's kind of mildly annoyed all the time. I'm still Team Zendaya.
She does the same thing in Euphoria, where people have pointed out Zendaya hasn't grown out of the Disney Channel way of performing on screen. She performs in Euphoria as if there is a laugh track.
And the thing is, Sydney Sweeney is not a great actress either, and I will die on that hill. I've yet to see any performance from her that tells me that she's a great actress, but her persona would lend itself oddly enough to the type of movies more that Zendaya is making, meaning blockbuster cinema where she can be the leading lady next to the male lead in like a blockbuster film. Or I mean, I don't know if she's good for Dune. I don't know if prestige sci-fi is really her bag, but she should make Barbarella, and she should make she should do a remake of Barbed Wire, and that's what she should be doing. And maybe, when the when the movies dry up, she relaunches Baywatch as her as the lead rather than the David Hasselhoff character.
No, I think that Sydney Sweeney is going to continue leaning into commercially unsuccessful movies because that's
her thing.
Well, that's her preference. But with all of these comparisons between Zendaya and Sydney Sweeney, it's relevant to point out that they are co-stars in Euphoria, which is currently developing its 3rd season, which is set to come out, I believe, next year. So there is allegedly a feud between Zendaya and Sydney Sweeney behind the scenes, at least according to this report from Daily Mail. Zendaya is refusing to even stand next to Sydney Sweeney. This says they can reveal the pair are locked in a bitter feud and are refusing to stand near each other at events. Their rift is said to be caused by their starkly different political views. Sydney Sweeney has been vocal about her support for President Trump. Not true.
That is like the biggest lie I've ever heard.
That's not true.
She's literally
they call her
never...
a proud Republican voter. That is also not true.
Why are you always lying?
Yeah, that's a lie. She was also criticized for her American Eagle advert, which some commentators deemed was racist. Zendaya is said to have been upset by Sydney Sweeney's views. She's said to be refusing to do press calls for the upcoming 3rd season of Euphoria with Sydney after filming finished earlier this month, according to sources working on the show. One insider stated, "It's no wonder Zendaya is refusing to do it. It's a difficult position for her to be in because if she even stands next to Sydney on a red carpet, it can be read as her excusing Sydney's views on Trump and her refusal to apologize for the racist ad."
She has no views on Trump, and there was nothing racist about the ad. Next.
Yeah, and they have never had any sort of public dispute. It's nothing but rumor here, and one of the comments theorized, this is coming from Zendaya's team, that they wanted to publish this in the Daily Mail to preempt any future criticisms against Zendaya for not being mad at Sydney Sweeney over the ad. So if they're smiling together, people will say, oh, well, Zendaya is just fulfilling a contract. They have to promote the show, etc. And if this piece backfires, Zendaya's team can always deny it and say, well, it's Daily Mail. What did you expect?
I just think that Zendaya is very calculating with her career. I think both of them are. Maybe that's the most impressive thing about it, is that a show about the absolute dregs of society has produced two of the most committed, and they're very good. Like, they're very good at the business side of the industry. Both Zendaya and Sydney Sweeney. And I saw a comment earlier, and I do agree. It is true. Sydney Sweeney doesn't need to be a great actress. That is 110% true. But it would benefit her then to pick role. Like, okay, no, she doesn't need to be a good actress. That's why she should be doing Barbarella and Barbed Wire and Baywatch. But if you're going to take art house slop that's supposed to be award show bait, you kind of do need to be a good actress if you actually want the movies to resonate with people. So now if she was taking Baywatch 2 Electric Boogaloo Blue Crush Edition, everybody would be like, go off, Queen. Like, that's fine. Or if they were like, yeah, of course she's going to make Showgirls Part 2 Electric Boogaloo, nobody would have a thing to say about it. They'd be like, you know what? That's how you're going to make your money. But if she's doing the lesbian boxing movies or Immaculate and all of these things, even horror movies
and Americana.
Like, if your movies are made for people on Letterboxd, you kind of have to be a good actor. Or you be a bad actor and you get really good at producing and doing ads for Dunkin' Donuts and racist jeans.
I think her acting skills do not match up with the projects that she's choosing. And another co-star of Sydney Sweeney on The White Lotus, named Amy Lou Wood, recently took a dig at her. In the comment section on one of the clips of her GQ interview with Catherine Stoffel, Amy Lou Wood commented nothing but a puking emoji. To just express her disgust at Sydney Sweeney's refusal to apologize for the American Eagle ad. And now, understandably, Amy Lou Wood is getting a hate train as well.
I mean, it's even
got to the point where Sydney Sweeney is getting hate from Sabrina Carpenter's fan base because she made a TikTok for Stephen Colbert's show to the tune of one of her songs.
Yeah. Wait,
like, she can't win.
Who was Sabrina Carpenter just standing by recently saying, like, telling that, like, somebody was getting backlash? It's literally all, none of them ever shut up. So you have like 10,000 things from 10,000 actors, where she was like offering support for somebody, saying like "F 'em."
Millie Bobby Brown.
Millie Bobby Brown, that's what it was.
Yeah.
They're all the same.
Yeah, because
all the same.
Millie was saying that she was upset about the media picking apart her appearance, and she was crying at an award show.
I want Amy Lou Wood to do. Look, I am not one to say that you should gender swap roles, but if we're gonna do Austin Powers again, we gender swap. I guess it would be what's a female version of Austin? She can be the female Austin Powers.
Or they could just find a different actress and give her fake teeth.
Yeah. She's not going to be playing a fembot, that's for sure.
Do you find it believable that there's any sort of bad blood between Zendaya and Sydney Sweeney?
I don't know about bad blood,
don't.
but I find it believable that she would be like, she's making my career harder by turning the promotion of this movie or this show into something that it didn't need to be if she would just, you know... And the thing is, what did I say earlier? She probably is that classic example of somebody who's very socially liberal but very fiscally conservative because she seems to be focused on her money. If she is indeed a registered Republican, then
she was just the other
hanging
week
out with Hunter Schafer.
Hanging out with Hunter Schafer, the dolls, and she doesn't really care about the culture war.
She just wants to keep her tax money.
I think if anything, Zendaya is just glad to have the respect of people within their industry, and Sydney Sweeney wants the approval of the average consumer.
You don't think by choosing those movie roles that the exact thing she wants is approval from people within her industry?
It's clearly not working.
That is true.
Right?
All right, let's go to some super chats.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Happy Taco Tuesday, Brett and Mary. There was a 30-degree drop in temp today. Thanks, I hate it. At least I have the PCC blackout hoodie to keep me warm."
Yes.
Thank you
ladies,
for the shameless promo.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you go to the PCC Teespring, which I put into the chat up at top there, but you know what?
Is it in the description?
I believe it's in the description, but I'm going to put it right here directly to this hoodie. If you need to stay warm, and you do, because... like it was freaking cold out today. Like it sucks, but still not as bad as Minnesota, but definitely not the weather I want to have. Like I'm ready for I need 55 to 65 all year round. I would be okay with that.
Even that's too cold for me. But I have the blackout hoodie. It's very soft on the inside. Well, I have the zip up version, actually. I prefer a zip up hoodie. Corey Anderson said, "I work in a coffee factory. I do not drink coffee. You never want to see how the sausage is made. I will not ruin it for those that enjoy coffee."
I do appreciate that.
No, I want to know. I want to know what are you seeing in there? I want to know the secrets of the coffee industry.
Like what? Like are the coffees being killed? Is that what's happening?
Like I'm not going to stop drinking coffee based on anything you say, so I'm not worried about it. JJ said, "Wasn't Mary working on a documentary on women?"
Well, you were keeping a detailed list of OnlyFans horror stories.
That's what I was doing.
By the way, I just said horror stories, not the other thing.
I was documenting information in writing. I was not working on a documentary. Shane H. Wilder says, "Brett decides to get shredded and goes from Fatsovic to Absovic, making him go from Sadsovic to Gladsovic, then has a kid and becomes Brett Dadsovic."
You know, that's pretty rad civic. You can even put bad civic because my initials are bad.
Shane H. Wilder said, "I don't mind small talk with a cashier while they're scanning my items. The short human interaction for a while being checked out can make someone's day." Yeah, I just kind of mind it if I'm the person behind you in line and you're not even ordering your drink.
Yeah.
These people who are regulars at the coffee shop, I think they feel like they're BFFs with the baristas, and the baristas are just like, yeah. They're just trying so hard not to be rude in response, but they're like, job. I have shit to do. Stop wasting my time.
All right, let's hold off on the rest. Guys, we are dangerously close to a first crisis party. We're right there, but let's move on.
Nike has a new ad campaign starring a non-binary furry gamer. And they're about 2 years, 3 years too late for something like this to go over well. We are well past the Bud Light controversy, and I feel like this just feels, behind the times. It feels like they didn't put this through enough checks behind the scenes before approving it. This is an ad campaign starring a famous esports athlete. I don't know if I would call them an athlete, but they're trying to put forward that narrative that esports is a real sport.
It requires ridiculous reaction time and skills. I understand the concern about the title, but I'm going to go ahead and call them athletes.
It's like calling chess a sport. Like, I don't know if I'm with you on that. But anyway,
I feel the fact that I'm so dumb I can't criticize any level of chess. So.
The furry in question is named Dominique McLean and goes by the username Sonic Fox. And he wears this furry costume regularly on stream. This is his avatar on all social media, him in this furry costume. I don't know what the fursona is, if that's like is that a fox or is it a dog or what's really going on there?
I mean, well, if his name is Sonic Fox, it's a fox.
Yeah, so Dominique McLean is an esports gamer who is 27 years old. He's won hundreds of thousands of dollars in video game competitions throughout his career. And he is one of the video gamers that is being featured in this new ad campaign for Nike that is designed by Martine Rose. It's a collaboration between this designer and the brand. Sonic Fox has the starring role in their campaign called Gaming Division. And I want to show this promo video that they published for the ad campaign starring a bunch of different esports celebrities. They have Martine Rose and Sonic Fox showed at the very beginning.
Playing, or are we just gonna like push through it here?
We can just show some stills here.
Yeah.
That is Sonic Fox, but he's wearing prosthetic makeup.
Yeah.
Obviously, he doesn't look like that in real life. And they have a bunch of other people I've never heard of because I'm not really plugged into this whole like scene. But yeah, I don't understand why they would make this decision in 2025. It doesn't make sense for where we're at culturally. And you can also see this other photo of Dominique McLean with the furry helmet on, opening his shirt, and he's written on his torso the phrase trans rights. So that's cool. And I went and found his account, and his bio says black, non-binary, furry, queer, don't test me, you'll lose. Pronouns he, they. I've heard that you can only call him he if you're close to him. Everyone else has to say they, them.
That's actually the most infuriating part. As somebody who people call me out all the time on this show, because I'll be like, okay, sure, whatever. But like the second you actually put some type of like rule book in place for different ones, you've lost any normal person who isn't going to debase themselves for your pleasure. Not going to happen.
And one of these, thank you.
Thank you.
So, Libs of TikTok, of course, posted about this, and it got a lot of attention. That's how I found out about it.
Thank you guys. We appreciate it.
Sonic Fox then responded to Libs of TikTok in a quote tweet and ratioed Libs of TikTok, saying, OMG, I got my first 100K likes, and that was dunking on a bigot. How thematic. You guys are all wonderful. Thank you so much for the support. Got a shit ton of followers, so hell yeah, can't be mad. And I also found another post from Sonic Fox back in 2019 coming out as non-binary, saying, hey y'all, I've been thinking critically about myself these last couple months and my entire life perspective on how I look. The more I reflect on my past and likes, the more this makes sense to me. With that being said, I'm coming out as a non-binary man. A non-binary man.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know either. And he continued, I've always found myself enjoying things that were typically considered not masculine. And I've always thought of myself as 50% masculine, 50% feminine. But I always felt ridiculed and made fun of for liking more feminine things. This in turn made me almost never go clothes shopping. The men's clothes section just never appealed to me. I felt almost nothing there really matched me. Strangely enough, I always enjoyed the masculine look of my facial hair, but never the attire. For the last 8 years, have only settled for hoodie and jeans, and that's it. But when I look at myself in the mirror and visualizing the ideal me, I keep seeing myself with this androgynous appearance. I was too nervous and shy to try feminine clothing, but I feel I'm ready to conquer this shyness and start trying out new clothes and stuff that really feels like me, you know? I love the monochrome look and have always had a fascination with cardigans, shawls, and long black leather gloves, and even makeup. I'm gonna try on jewelry, piercings, etc., the whole 9 yards. I want to completely overhaul how I generally present myself to the world and have this new attire that I think feels right to really express the true me. I'm finna get some drip. I'll be shopping very soon and may end up looking hella different than I usually do at tournaments, so stay tuned for that. Don't worry, the mustache is staying. Ooh woo! I get to finally explore, and this just feels like a huge sigh of relief. Thank you for your support, everyone. And in time, I could see myself dropping he, him pronouns. I cannot tell if I am gender fluid or not, but I feel identifying as a cis man just isn't too right. I definitely know I don't feel like a woman either, but something in between, like he, they spectrum, I feel fits me most. Hell, even when I called myself gay for simplicity purposes, something always felt off about that as well. I'll probably still continue to say I'm gay, but in hindsight, I think I am probably pansexual, not sure yet. Sexuality and gender is confusing sometimes. But with that being said, I hope y'all accept me for me, regardless of how I appear. That is all I could ever ask for. That was back in 2019 when people still gave a shit about any of this. But all of that is to say, like, I'm a dude who, like, wants to wear skirts. All of that to say that your gender identity comes down to, like, the stores that you want to shop at.
Yeah, it's...
no one cares. Literally no one cares.
I mean, clearly people do care. That's the
Well, they did care back then, but nobody cares now. And that's why I feel like this Nike campaign is so out of touch, because nobody cares about this stuff.
I guess that level of self-obsession is...
I know, like...
crazy to me.
That was a whole essay.
Like...
about your clothes and jewelry.
I tend to be somebody who thinks, like, already, maybe because I'm more of an introverted person, I'd like to think that I'm not narcissistic or self-obsessed, right? I care about others. I think that's important. But I do wonder how much you lose in life by thinking about yourself that much, about those aspects of your life. Whereas back in the day, you know, tomboys existed and you just dressed the way that you felt and it didn't change anything else and it didn't require labels. This is a very, very, like, 2019 discussion. It's not even worth retreading in a lot of ways. I'm not going to provide you guys any insight or something that's going to sound super clever. I find this level of obsession with your own physical appearance, you know, outward physical appearance, kind of alienating. It doesn't make any sense to me. Well,
apparently he discovered his fursona before he ever became famous or before he ever identified as non-binary. He claimed in an interview that he discovered his fursona at age 10 and now dresses up as this blue and white anthropomorphic fox with blue and white ears. He didn't start wearing his fursona suit until the age of 16, but he says, I was a furry before I started playing games. So that's cool. Another layer of representation there for the furry community. Again, this is what happens when you're too accepting.
I look at this and say, like, the fact that he is a professional, I guess, athlete, it's a little bit different because it goes into the branding and the marketing. Like, it would actually be weirder if he wasn't exceptional at something.
Well, this press release really tries to convince you that gamers are athletes. It says skill over status, individuality over conformity, expression over everything. It's with this spirit that Nike and Martine Rose are unveiling the latest product of their long-standing partnership, a vibrant collection of apparel, footwear, and accessories that celebrate esports and the gaming community. This collection taps into the democracy of gaming, A space where, and this is loaded language, a space where anyone can compete, connect, and belong, reflecting the possibilities of what sport can be and who it can represent.
Well, that's just a bunch of word salad. What you should have said, it represents the meritocracy, where people who all look different from different walks of lives, some with fursonas and some without, can become the best in their field through pure skill and hard work.
I'm sorry, there's just no way you're going to convince me that video games are sports. They're not sports. If it doesn't require physical prowess, I don't think it's a sport.
It absolutely does. Hand-eye coordination and time. Yes, it does.
Okay, you could say that about literally anything, though.
I'm going to go ahead and say that it is a sport.
Could you say that a professional crocheter is an athlete because it requires hand-eye coordination?
If it required them to complete it in a specific amount of time, but yeah, sure, why not?
That's some bullshit. That you could say hand-eye coordination is involved in literally so many activities that are not sports.
It's an activity that has a set of rules in which you go and compete against, and the person who has developed the best skills in that thing have won. It's not like chess, which is purely physical or purely mental, because unless we're talking about the ability to move a piece, but to actually, use your controller and do it well. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one.
And you think chess is a sport as well, for the same reason? Really? Oh, now we have some pensive
the Olympic
thought going on.
Look, I understand that the hot taker would be like, oh, it's not a sport. Like, I don't know. I couldn't beat any of them in gaming, so
that doesn't mean that it's not a sport. Just because something isn't a sport doesn't mean it's easy.
Okay, so they're saying competition, not sports. So it's a semantic argument between everybody.
I don't think it's semantic. I mean, well, really, semantic arguments are about meaning. Words need to mean things.
So this is a complete aside, but I do want to bring this up, and I never had a chance to put it in there, and we'll get to that 20 in a second. So I don't even remember what the tweet was, but like a couple of weeks ago, I put out some tweet, and some guy who disagreed with it was like, you know how me and you are always like nothing ever changes, but it's, what did we start with? It was like, it's not nothing ever changes,
or it's not nothing ever happens.
It's nothing ever changes. He says, well, I think people who say nothing ever happens, that saying nothing ever happens is stupid. And I said, well, it's not nothing ever happens, it's nothing ever changes, and it's kind of a commentary on the fact that no matter how much things happen, nothing ever seems to change in society. He goes, you must be taking semantic arguments from Ian. I'm like, you literally brought up the semantics. What do you want me to do? You made it literally an argument about semantics.
Okay, but we live in a time where words don't have static definitions anymore. And that's why semantic arguments, in my opinion, still should matter. We do need to ascertain the meaning of the words we use in the English language. We have a 20 from Pop Culture Junkie. Regarding the Nike campaign, my flopometer, TM, is starting to twitch. Yeah, definitely seems like a bad move for the brand. It also bears a mention here, just because I thought it was appropriate. At TwitchCon in San Diego, this was just last month, they had a gaming tournament for women for the Milk Cup. This was their 2025 LAN championship at TwitchCon. And a trans-identifying male won the grand prize, which included $78,000 in competition with a woman, an actual woman. So
they're saying chess equals game, not a sport. I love it. This is I will not lose sleep over this argument.
It's literally in the term video game. It's a game.
Yeah,
it's not a sport.
All right, but you are right. This does feel 2019-ish, 2020-ish in its marketing.
What was it that we heard about one battle after another? It has a liberal mustiness.
Yeah, the mustiness of a movie for 2020.
It's musty.
All right.
It's about as musty as that Fursona suit. But that's pretty musty.
Let's move on. Let's go to Superchats.
Exploding Prinny said, I worked for the Target on Colorado Boulevard in Pasadena, CA back in 1999 to 2000. Good memories, so many stories. I bet that was back when they had to wear khakis. That's not a thing anymore.
Yeah, I had to wear khakis when I worked at Target.
So now you can wear jeans and you don't have to smile at people for 11 months of the year. Corey Anderson said, this kind of service is why I don't care when they can't afford homes. They do not just act like this at work. They are the same in their private lives. I guess they think that there should be no distinction between their job and their private life. But at the same time, Gen Z is the most adamant about wanting work-life balance. So that doesn't really make sense. Robert Delara said more people should be polite and engage in eye contact. Eye contact means you're personable and engaging. It does tell what type of person you are. Yeah, I agree.
You ever seen, like,
I think that you owe strangers a base level of pleasantness and decency.
You ever see those like videos where the guy says like men inherently know the difference between the upward nod and the downward nod? The downward nod says hello, sir. The upward nod says what's up.
What's up? And then this is hello. Sir.
You're it's a sign of deference to somebody perhaps older or of a higher status than you. You give them the respect of the downward nod. When it's somebody of equal status, it's up.
Rural Conservative said, in farming, customer relations is a big part. I do enjoy visiting salesmen, but I've met a delivery guy who was a bit over-friendly. Mary is correct. Well, I usually am, so that's not a surprise.
Do one more.
Robert Delara said, more people should be polite. I think this was maybe a duplicate super chat.
Do one more.
Dingus Khan of Gongolia said, what is that clunking? Did Shane Cashman open up the basement hole again, or is it chimney birds? Neither.
It's not chimney birds. It's literally the wind outside.
The wind outside is like shaking the entire building.
Yep. All right, let's hold off on the rest and let's come back.
So you guys remember us showing you the brawls over limited edition Labubu's, the brawls over limited edition Stanley Cups being sold at Starbucks, and now there is a brand new iteration of this in late stage capitalism called the Starbucks Barista Cup. It's a limited edition Christmas merchandise at Starbucks. It is a glass bear-shaped cup that you're supposed to put your latte in. It's sort of reminiscent of a honey bottle. It's shaped like a bear. And people are so obsessed with this thing that they are, first of all, showing up at Starbucks at 4 a.m. before they open to line up outside the store. And then once they get in, they realize there are only 2 that are available at each store. And then, of course, fights break out over who gets to buy it. So this has caused a huge controversy. Starbucks has now been forced to apologize for the amount of bloodshed over this cup that has taken place in recent days. And there are videos of people fighting inside their stores over the Barista Cup. Can you show a picture of it for everybody? It's in this article here.
Looks like it belongs in Portland.
There it is,
with
in all of its glory. This is the cup that everyone is fighting over now.
It does
I don't know why
remind
people
me
are so obsessed with cups.
So I don't normally go down like Instagram comment section rabbit holes, but I very much remember last year when there was the Stanley Cup debacle at Target.
Was it the Valentine's Day cup at Starbucks?
It might have been for Valentine's Day. I don't remember what it was. But I remember there was it was like a Starbucks cup available at Target or something.
It was at
like
Target,
that.
Starbucks.
So I went down this absolute rabbit hole of this guy who made a video where his daughter really wanted that cup. So they got up at 2 a.m. to go and camp outside of Target to get it. It was a wholesome video of like the dad and the daughter going to do this. And depending on your worldview and how jaded you are, it seemed sweet enough, right? And the comments were all like, why would you support a Zionist company, you scumbags?
Starbucks?
I guess, yeah, because they're like, I was expecting it to be like a critique. And there was, to be fair, there was critiques of like late stage capitalism and blah, blah, blah. But they were like, I didn't know about like apparently the Starbucks to Zionist pipeline that existed. Until I read that, and I was like, I didn't know that Starbucks was dropping bombs from the IDF, but okay. Like, I went down the rabbit hole, and yeah, they were pissed at this guy because he was supporting genocide by taking his daughter in America to go get a cup from Target at 2 a.m.
Look, I don't have beef with that guy in particular. I do think it's kind of pathetic that we're at a place in society where their highest priority is getting a novelty cup at Starbucks.
Yeah.
And they're waking up at like 3 a.m. in order to get one.
Yeah.
And if they can't, they make a TikTok crying about it like a child.
Or worse, they spend hundreds of dollars for one on eBay.
Yes. They are sold at $30 or $29.95. And there are only 2 that have been shipped to each Starbucks location. They're all gone now. And you can find the exact same wholesale item, the exact same glass bear cup on Amazon for even cheaper. And it just doesn't have the Starbucks logo on it. That's the only difference.
It's even got the beanie?
It even has the beanie. Yes.
Is the beanie green?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So
you
it's
can
not
find
even like...
the exact same cup without the logo for even cheaper than it's sold in stores. And of course, cheaper than the Starbucks cups that are now getting resold on eBay for hundreds of dollars by the people who fought to get one. There was one brawl that broke out at a Starbucks
across
in
Texas
Houston.
tonight. We're
Yeah, hold on. There we go.
learning new details about a brawl at a Starbucks outside of Houston. Harris County Precinct 4 posted about it on Facebook. Several people were fighting inside a Starbucks and refused to leave the store. It was all over these brand new Starbucks Barista cups that were just released this morning. According to the Facebook post, deputies were able to restore the peace.
Who do you think is like more like annoyed with their life choices right now? The cops who have to break this up, or the reporter who has to do this? Is like for us, it's like, we're a podcast, right? This isn't hard-hitting journalism. The local news reporter is like, ugh.
Like, I went to school for this.
Like, I got a degree.
The county constable.
I've got a local Emmy. Like, this should not happen.
The county constable said, when it's 5 a.m. and the drama's already brewing, just when the folks were reaching for their morning coffee, deputies with Constable Mark Herman's office were called to the Starbucks in the 3000 block of FM 1960, where Aldine Westfield Road, for a rather unique disturbance. Reports came in of several individuals refusing to leave the store and fighting over a new barista cup. Deputies were on scene restoring peace before anyone spilled their latte or lost their teddy bear.
DJ Dubs on the Rumble chat says, make the beanie black and sell it on timcast.com for $10. Sell it for a $20 loss.
I think we need Teddy Cast cups.
That would work.
And then there's another video that was getting some attention on TikTok, which I believe is at Starbucks in New Jersey, where you can see grown-ass men fighting each other in the Starbucks at like 4 a.m. This is insane.
No audio on this. Yeah, they're fighting.
Nothing justifies this.
Let's steel man the argument here. These guys are the absolute pinnacle of husband material, who are getting this for their wife for Christmas.
Does not matter.
And they are just throwing hands.
Does not matter.
For her honor.
Does not matter. I don't think it matters why they're doing it. Nothing justifies this. And now this person dropped, in all of the chaos, dropped their teddy bear cup on the ground, and it shattered. That thing would have been worth like hundreds of dollars on eBay.
Yeah, it would have.
That's sad. And lastly, I want to show you a video from a TikToker who showed up at Starbucks before they opened, waited in line for hours for her Starbucks cup, and didn't get one. Here's the primary reason why Starbucks is getting hate right now. So it's being discovered that Starbucks employees are buying the bear cups before they even unlock the doors for customers to come inside in the morning.
I'm going to tell you about my Starbucks bear cup story this morning. My eyes look crazy and I am exhausted, which I will tell you why. So I have been obsessed with these bear cups since I saw them, and I was like, I need to get my hands on a bear cup. So I called.
This girl is extremely annoying. I'll just warn you.
I don't use the term NPC very often, but damn.
Yeah.
Every Starbucks that it was possible for me to drive to days before these things got released. I found one that was nowhere near I lived, but the manager said employees are not allowed to buy the bear cups or any of our holiday collection unless they are online with everyone else. So I was like, perfect, I'm going here. The manager was
I have
nice.
to interject. She keeps saying online when she's talking about people waiting in line. It really, really bothered me. And I went into the comments and I saw like tons of other people pointing this out. Every time she's talking about waiting in line for something, she says she's online.
The phone and assured me, my friend called, my mom called, I called. We all made sure, like...
Did she just get like a Brooklyn accent out of nowhere? What the hell just happened?
I don't know what accent that is.
Whoever's there first, the line gets the bear cup.
She cold, I cold, they cold.
So I picked my friend up at 2 a.m. We are the first people at Starbucks. I will insert a video or picture or something to show where the first one's there.
Dancing outside
We got
the
there way too
Starbucks at
early
2
because
a.m.
the workers showed up at like 4:15 and we were still the only ones online. So people start to get there about 4:30 and we're like, okay, they want the Hello Kitty stuff. We want the bear cup. There's 2 bear cups. Me and my friend, like, we're good. Everyone's happy.
Everybody's gonna be happy, yeah.
Everyone's gonna get what they want. So 5 minutes before the doors open, one of the workers opened the door and said, I'm just letting you guys know, like, I'm gonna be buying the bear cups and the Hello Kitty plushes. So you might want to try another Starbucks that we're wasting our
They left them outside that whole time.
Good for them. Good for them.
I said, I've been here since 2:15 in the morning, which you knew because when I watched you guys walked in to your shift, I told you as a joke, like, I've been here all night, proud, camping on the streets of Brooklyn, honestly scared for my life. I did have pepper spray in my hand. But he didn't care. He just closed the door. Didn't care. Mind you, the supervisor on shift said...
You should use this as an explanation as to why communism doesn't work. Because everybody's out for themselves.
Before she was walking in that employees weren't allowed to buy them because of everything with the whole Stanley Starbucks scandal, that employees can't sell it out before the line has the chance to get it. So basically, they kept the doors locked until after 5, and the worker purchased it at 5 while we were outside, which I have video of, and bought the bear cups while it was freezing cold outside watching. Then
Whose
the doors
fault is
open.
that? Yeah. Whose fault is that?
I run inside like a psycho. I'm 26, sprinting to the back. Maybe there's hope there's a bear cup. And there was no bear cup. He did.
26-year-old grown-ass woman acting like this.
Continue?
Yes.
Okay.
Buy them off of the shelf. So I was mad. They clearly broke a rule. You were not allowed to do that. Employees were not allowed to buy it. You were not online. I waited all night in the freezing cold.
Somebody in the chat said that is slang.
Is it?
Upstream World says online meaning inline is a northern and British thing.
Well, I hate it.
Of Brooklyn. This is, by the way, it's like 7413 3rd Avenue in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, this Starbucks location. But they were not allowed to buy it unless they were online. Workers proceeded to say that this worker that purchased it was the first one online when the doors opened. I was like, what? Like, you're not even gonna lie and say like workers are allowed to buy it, which I knew wasn't true because the managers told me. But you're gonna say he was the first online? Like, I have video footage and Starbucks has video footage and we know you weren't there online. Like, come up with a better lie. But yeah, they did not care and sold it out before the doors opened, breaking the rules, which they knew. Yeah. So I didn't get my bear cut. The people online that got there 2.5 hours after me did get their Hello Kitty stuff, so I'm happy for them. Moral of the story. I waited on the corner of a Brooklyn street with my friend in the freezing cold when I have work in the morning and worked all day, had not slept, to not get a bear cup. So I feel so defeated and I feel so weird and I feel so upset over this bear cup. So yeah, that's my story. I just feel like people should follow rules.
So now she's saying she's going on strike and boycotting Starbucks over this.
Yeah, it's not going to do
People
anything.
are blowing up the comment section on Starbucks' Instagram and TikTok saying the same thing. Like one of these comments said, hyping up a limited edition item only to give stores 1 or 2 of them, actually absurd, very disappointing.
I will say giving them 2 is crazy work.
Well, look, Starbucks knew this was going to happen.
No,
Of course,
absolutely.
this was intentional.
I'm saying like not even 5.
It was intentional that they did this. They knew this was going to happen. I understand why they implemented the new policy about like the employees not being allowed to buy them out before they open. But I am kind of in the employees' corner with this. Like, the people waiting outside are whack. Yeah. Like, they have no priorities in life. She's, like, complaining about how she had to wait in the freezing cold at 2 a.m. That was your choice? No one made you do that.
I wonder if she can accurately explain what it is about the bear that she wants.
Well, here's the thing.
Like, this
if
is
they
why
shipped more than 2 of them to each store, then no one would want it. It's the rarity of the item that makes it so appealing to people. It makes them start like losing their minds.
This is why marketing matters and why limited edition matters. It's crazy. Like, this isn't some trust fund kid who has the time. She's like, I'm late I gotta go to work. I'm tired. You know, somebody could mug me while I'm waiting on the street corner here, and I'm in New York, so I can't even own a firearm. Plus, I probably think they're scary anyways.
See, the reboot of The Devil Wears Prada set in current year would be Anne Hathaway. No, it would be like Miranda Priestley tells Anne Hathaway, you have to find the Barista cup for my twin daughters. They both want their own Barista cup. They don't want to share. You have to get the first ones that are available.
It's like the movie Jingle All the Way with the toy that you know Arnie needs to get. I remember we go to a lot of flea markets out here, and you know they got they're not thrift stores, but they got vendors. You know, everybody's got their own booth and stuff there. You can like take an item and then bring it to the front and you purchase it there. People have, you know, they buy up space and put their stuff in there. And there was like an original Green Ranger dagger from the Power Rangers. And the amount of self-control it took me not to buy it. It's like when I log into my eBay and I see that, you know, 1999 WWF Championship Big Eagle belt, the one that Stone Cold Steve Austin came out with the night after he won at WrestleMania 15, excuse me, and not the blue strap, but the black strap. And I'm like, no, I can't justify this right now. I want it, but it takes some self-control.
But imagine if you only wanted that for the sole reason that other people want it. That's what's going on here.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
It's just pure NPC behavior. Starbucks ended up having to issue a public apology to their customers for what's happened. Say,
this lady could have easily turned this into some promo from them where Starbucks is like, you know, it would be a great way to get some good publicity right now would be to give her one and give her like a 2-year supply of Starbucks.
They said the excitement for our merchandise exceeded our biggest expectations. Despite shipping more barista cups to coffee houses than almost any other merch item this holiday season, the barista cup and some other items sold out fast. We understand many customers were excited about the barista cup and apologize for the disappointment this may have caused.
Yeah, they're like...
Oh, they're laughing all the way to the bank.
They're laughing all the way to the bank on that one. That is a hard one to watch.
And like,
looks
even
sad.
I'm not a communist by any means, but it's radicalizing. Seeing stuff like this, I'm like, okay, your entire life revolves around buying products.
Yeah, but you know, if
this could make anyone into a communist.
Human beings having free will, what it is, limiting their access to everything because they're too materialistic doesn't work either. It's not going to fix any of the problems.
I'm just saying this with the Labubu stuff, with the Stanley Cup craze, all of that could make anyone into a communist.
I like the idea that the CEO of Starbucks came into like the boardroom with the picture of the bear and goes, how laissez-faire are you?
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys. All right.
Okay. Let's read the rest of these super chats.
Okay.
Corey Anderson said, I'm surprised Hollywood allows so many women to work in LA due to all the bears they attract every month.
Hey, it's doing it again. Better stop. Better stop.
Are we going to have a problem?
Probably. It's annoying.
I'm not dancing for this one. This isn't a real one.
You only get a dance for the first crisis party.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what that means, Corey. Not that John Stewart said, yeah, that was cringe. Well, I don't know what you're talking about, but
I'm assuming
probably right.
No, it came in during the cringe of the day. Yeah.
Brian Bledsoe said, the only actress I can think of somewhat recently that was considered difficult to work with was Katherine Heigl. Yeah. Wonder what she did or didn't do.
Yeah. I still remember when she, because she was like a rom-com mainstay in the early 2000s. I remember her from, and I'm sure somebody here will get this reference, the show Roswell from the early 2000s.
I remember Roswell.
The Alien Kids. I love that show.
I don't know why I liked it.
I watched it. I didn't see it till years later. I saw it like in the last, I think me and Olivia watched it, both of us for the first time. We really liked it. Thought it was good. But she went on to be like a rom-com mainstay. She was considered difficult to work with. And then in 2015, she had a fall from grace where she starred in like a network television show. And at that time, that was a demotion. It was called State of Affairs, and exactly one person in the world watched it, and that one person was me.
Okay, it says allegations include her being outspoken about working conditions such as 17-hour workdays and criticizing the storylines on Grey's Anatomy. She publicly declined consideration for an Emmy nomination, citing a lack of material, which led to backlash. Combined with her comments about Knocked Up being sexist, contributed to her being labeled difficult, ungrateful, and unprofessional by some industry figures.
She complained. Somebody, Leif in the chat says she complained about being typecasted as the nagging, humorless girlfriend, and then she continued to nag and be humorless, which is just going to make it impossible for you to beat those allegations.
Some sources suggest her behavior was a response to being overworked and bullied by adult male crew members and pitted against her own mother, who was executive producer on her show State of Affairs. Colleagues on Grey's Anatomy have described her as professional, kind, and reliable. Well, of course, the co-stars would say that, contradicting that narrative. She never intended to be difficult, she stated, and that her actions were driven by anxiety and stress, which she later sought help for through therapy and medication.
Yeah. I'll never, like, my favorite part about Roswell is how it's one of those great examples where literally none of them look like teenagers.
They just didn't even try to pretend.
No, not at all.
Roswell was, I don't know if I thought it was good. It was just,
I liked it. It was good. It was
I watched it in like 2013. I don't even remember why.
Yeah, we watched it like last year, and I was like, you know what? We didn't know how good we had it.
I just recalled that the makeout scenes were way too much.
Me and Olivia said the same thing. We're like, but it was just the first season, so that was like we like by like midway through the first season, I like turned to Olivia. I'm like, I don't think I can do this anymore.
It was a lot.
I was like, and it's like they're not just like, this isn't like just regular normal people kissing. They're like going for it.
Yeah, it was insane.
And I'm like, there is a sexual harassment lawsuit waiting to happen. But that kind of cooled off after the first season, made it more watchable. But it was definitely over the top in season 1.
Lysergic Harmony. Oh, Lysergic Harmony?
Okay.
Said opinion on sneaking snacks into theaters.
Well, we know.
Yeah, everyone knows how I feel about that. It's not that I'm sneaking snacks. I'm sneaking in a whole meal, maybe even 2 meals.
In the loudest container possible.
I was literally, I forget what movie that is. I brought a whole container of fried chicken.
She did. I remember that.
Was that with you?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was
incredible.
It was those plastic containers that are rigid and go.
Well, no, it was a cardboard box, but it had like tinfoil. It was Korean fried chicken.
Well, there was
totally
one you
worth it.
brought in with the
Everything else was plastic. I brought in sushi. I brought in tofu. I brought in pastries. I brought in a boba tea. Everything you can think of.
It's the meme of like the,
And I got caught only one time, but it was because this busybody manager was trying to give me a hard time. Yeah, it was like that.
It's literally the loudest container. It's designed to keep your kids from sneaking cake after dinner when they're not supposed to be eating it.
And I got to a point where I was just so brazen with it. I just walked in with the whole like bag showing. I didn't even try to hide it in my backpack.
Eventually,
or anything.
You put it in your backpack.
After that incident, but this guy tried to stop me, and I was like, bro, like, why are you giving me?
I'm sorry, but in the like, and I'm gonna be that guy. I'm like, it's literally bro's job because you're gonna put him out of it. You're gonna literally put him out of work.
But I said, like, you just watched all these other people doing the same thing, and so I went outside, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go put this in my car. I went outside, and I just stuffed it all in my bag so that he couldn't see it.
It's my job to yell. Somebody asked, why is Brett yelling? Shut up, Brett. No, it's my job to yell. I'm sorry.
Otherwise, you'd be out of a job.
Yep.
But what's your take on that? Do you think it's ethical to sneak snacks into the theater?
I mean, I think it's the same thing that people have when, and it's not going to sound like a fair comparison, but like when stuff gets stolen from your local store and then they shut down.
So not the same thing.
The point is eventually they will not make enough money on concessions because that's where they make their money, that the theaters will shut down. Like, do I care if you do it? Nah, but like, would I be surprised if a theater went out of business in today's day and age? No. But then the idea is like, well, then they should lower the prices, but not enough people are going to theaters. It's a revolving cycle of bad shit that nobody can solve.
I'm just saying, you know, if you wanted me to buy from the concessions, then fries or grilled cheese wouldn't be $15.
And I won't fake not being or be a hypocrite. I did sneak in my drink.
Yeah, as you should.
But I was like, you know what? I'm paying like a mortgage down payment on drunken fries. So I rationalized, and it was an unfair rationalization, that because I bought my car payment sized drunken fries, that it was okay for me to sneak my drink in.
And not only are they going to charge you like $15 for some fries, they're also going to try to pass over some nacho cheese as if it's beer cheese with your fries. And admit that they tried to trick you.
Yeah, that was the worst one.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not supporting the business. Kyle Dixon said, in a perfect world, Sydney Sweeney would have pulled Mary Jane. What does that mean?
Played Mary Jane? Yeah. She could have.
Is that a different character than MJ? I can't tell
yes,
at this point.
in this universe, I don't think it's the same as like the comic book MJ.
Shane H. Wilder said, we all know Mary sneaks snacks into the theater.
Yep.
I sneak in a whole like Thanksgiving banquet into the theater.
Like, here's Brett acting morally superior because all he sneaks in is his like sparkling ice.
It's so not the same thing as shoplifting.
And now, well, I'm saying the end outcome would be the same of like too much shoplifting from a store versus consistently going there and not buying the food but bringing your own food. I'm not saying it's the same thing. I'm saying the end outcome would be the same. And I can't shame you because I was doing the same thing. Now, given the fact that I've given up drinking like flavored drinks, I guess I could be okay with just water there. But even then, I'd be like, maybe I'll sneak in my sparkling water because it's like I don't think they sell sparkling water there. Plus, they sell Dasani, which means you're asking to be ignored.
Ugh.
Why would I want to drink construction paper?
I got a hot chocolate at the theater one time, and it was like $6 for a small hot chocolate made with Swiss Miss, and I was like, I'm not doing this. See,
I loved when I was growing up. We had what was called the Cinema Cafe in my town, and it was great. Like it was not the new movies; it was like the older movies. So the tickets were cheap, but you would buy like a pizza, and you sat down, and it was brought to you by a waiter. That was like I remember when I don't remember if we were on like school, like on like Christmas break or something, but I went to see Home Alone 3, not 1 or 2, multiple. Well, I mean, that depends on your definition of bad. But went to see it multiple times in the same day. Like, went back. Yeah.
That's insane behavior.
With, like, I guess money I got from Christmas, like, in cards. Like, how did I afford multiple pizzas? I have no idea.
Alamo Draft House does that, where they bring you your food, but their seats are super uncomfortable in Alamo, and the food sucks and is way too expensive. So miss me with that. I'm going to continue breaking the rules. Brian Bledsoe said, wouldn't the actual number of tickets sold be a more accurate measure of box office success? Also easier to compare between population than inflation. Well,
I mean, if you want to go that deep into it, and I guess you should, you'd have to talk about movies in the past and what was considered competition, because now they have the competition of streaming, not just network television and 3 basic cable stations. There's a lot of different metrics you could use for that. I would say that you are correct, that incorporating how many tickets were sold does matter, but then type of ticket matters as well, because IMAX screenings and PLF screenings matters as well, because a movie can do better with less tickets sold by doing well, particularly with large format screenings, because they cost more. So, I mean, look, there are channels like Valiant Renegade, who does a great job, or OMB Reviews, who do great box office analysis. I am not smart enough, nor do I have enough of an affinity for numbers to really know that. But I do look at the base level. But you should go follow those channels if you're looking for really good box office breakdowns.
What would you say is the average cost of an adult ticket to a movie?
I don't know. I looked this up recently, and it
like
was
15.
I mean, it's probably higher than
17?
that. Or no, it's probably lower than that now.
Really?
Let's find out. It's probably around 15. Let's find out.
I'm gonna say 15.
Okay.
So, if Christie made $646 at the theater on average on opening weekend, that means that about like 43 people went to see it per theater.
So the AI overview, take that for what it is. The average movie ticket price in the U.S. for 2025 is approximately $11.31 to $16.08, depending on the source and methodology, with the average for the first quarter estimated at $11.25. By some reports, prices vary significantly by location. Again, big city ticket prices, way different than if you're in, a smaller town. Like I remember when I was doing box office stuff for Superman and comparing it to Man of Steel, and it wasn't even that hot. Like I think it was like $13 or something like that. I'm gonna look it up. What was the average movie ticket price in 20? Yep, I already searched it before.
In 2015.
2013.
2013.
Would have been $8.13.
Yeah, quite a steep change. Pat the Plumber said, "You see Richson's Dr. Squatch commercials, top tier."
Alan
No,
Richson.
I did not.
Alan, I saw that he was saying that he thinks people are going to have fight fatigue for Reacher season 4 because he filmed like 40 fights. None of the men who are watching your show are going to have fight fatigue. I'm sorry to say. There is that. Actually, you know what? That's not necessarily true. I do think that John Wick 3 and 4 went too far with the fights, meaning that sequences that could have been cut shorter just kept going. And I'm like, bro, like, I got shit to do. Can you wrap this up? Like, a fight can go too far, pacing-wise and suspense, or not suspense, but drama-wise. Like, you can lose some of the drama and the tension by having the fight go on too far.
High Voltage 75 said Sweeney should star in a remake of Showgirls. No good acting required. Only your two best assets. You're going to have to take that up with Sydney Sweeney because she doesn't want to take roles like that. Robert Delara said Zendaya only wants to surround herself by people who think the way she does. Sydney Sweeney seems to be someone who is more true and real.
I don't is there evidence that Zendaya has said that?
No.
I guess
I'm just saying, if you trust the Daily Mail reporting a rumor, yeah, that's true.
Like, it doesn't, I guess it's true, but it seems like most of the time she's kept pretty quiet about these things. Like, most of people's complaints about Zendaya are that she's overexposed and she's being hired to do roles that don't suit her.
Yeah.
In big budget projects.
Corey Anderson said, "At the coffee factory I worked at, nothing was wasted, and that is all I will say. As an aside, I worked in the flavor room and I smelled amazing after work." Interesting. I still want to know more about what was really going on in the coffee factory, though. Shane H. Wilder said, "I thought it was supposed to boots with the fur, not furries in boots. How is Shoddy supposed to get low without the boots with the fur?" Right? I was confused about that, too. I'm glad that you brought it up. Corey Anderson said, "Sonic Fox is the reason bullies exist." Well, it's the reason why bullying should exist. As I've been trying to point out, people really did not receive that point well. When I posted about it on Instagram. Shane H. Wilder said, "Correction for not for FIR, damned autocorrect." No, you're good. Burned Oils said, "I like Mary's soul-sucking eyes." I don't think that my eyes look like that. I don't think that I have dead eyes.
No.
Pop Culture Junkie said, regarding the Nike campaign, oh, I already read that one earlier. Given the hockey pun, love the brand Stanley Cup. Is that a pun? Did they intend it to be that way?
I mean, I don't know if that was on purpose. I don't know if the people who made Stanley were like, you know what? I mean, it even kind of looks like the Stanley Cup. Not really, but you know.
Well, this is the Sanrio version.
Yes, it's like the Stanley Cup in reverse, because the Stanley Cup actually gets like thinner as it goes to the top before it gets to the cup part. It's our Lord Stanley.
Shane H. Wilder said these novelty bear cups have been around forever. If you want to go really cheap, they have bear-shaped mason jars for $3. But it's not about the bear cup. It's about the logo of the corporation being on the bear cup.
Florence Pugh needs to make her own bear cup because she looks like them.
Yeah. Saw a lot of people making like tutorial videos on how to make your own Starbucks bear cup out of the honey bottle. They're getting desperate. Rural Conservative said found a bear cup for $50,000 on eBay. Not buying. That's insane. Corey Anderson said, I haven't purchased anything Nike since it was proved they used child labor. I still stand by that decision.
I mean, that was like my joke. I was like, conservatives are going to boycott. They're like, you know what? Child labor, that's fine. But woke gamers that are furries, everybody knows furries are stupid and video games aren't a career. Boycott! Sorry.
Well, I think that child labor is so ubiquitous that it's almost impossible to boycott that consistently.
Yeah.
Like that would be a tough thing to do.
I guess I did the video on Spotify and my point was like, I'm not going to boycott because in the economy, if you make a product that I want to buy, I'm going to give you the money for that product and we're going to do an exchange of currency for goods and services. The less I know about your company, the better, other than whether you make a product that I buy clothes on Amazon all the time. Like, I don't know what the ethical concerns are of those companies, and I don't care.
There are many, but you cannot possibly boycott everything.
I don't know the ethical concerns of JC Distro, who makes this shirt. No clue.
Who is JC?
Could be run by a communist for all I know.
The mayor of Seriostown said, I make it a point to know the baristas at my local Starbucks, and they tell me about product releases ahead of time. Should have bought the darn bear to resell. Generational wealth escaped me yet again. So they told you about it? They gave you the inside scoop? That would have really set you ahead in life.
When I worked at, in fact, I should have shared this story on there, and I know I've told this story on the show. When I worked at Target, one of the things that did happen there is there was a radio station in the Twin Cities called Cities 97. I did not listen to it. It was something my mom listened to.
Okay.
And they released before iPods were like the norm for everybody, or even having music on your phone, they released a CD every year called the Cities 97 Sampler, which was I guess the biggest songs that year, and it had original artwork and all that stuff, and they only made a certain amount of them. Then they were sold exclusively at Target. And you know what I did when I came into work? I skipped right past the line. I grabbed one. I bought it myself for my mom for Christmas. So that was why I made the excuses for those pathetic men fighting there, is because I did that at one point. I skipped the line. I ignored all of these people standing in this obscene line that went out the store. I literally walked right past all of them to the counter, took one, brought it up front, paid for it, and just put it back in my locker before I went to work.
But the employees were allowed to do that.
I mean, nobody stopped me.
Right? There was no rule against it, unlike at Starbucks. Brian Bledsoe said, can't judge the fervor over the cups because I have my share of movie-themed popcorn buckets. Well, yeah, but would you fight someone over it? Would you get in a brawl? You know, you have a limit. Carnell said, this barista theatrics is just the modern-day telling of Jingle All the Way. Screw that cup. I want a Turbo Man action figure.
Yeah. Yep.
Pop culture junkie.
I've started adding the Christmas movies I want to watch to my watch later lists on various streaming services, and crossing my fingers that they're not taken off before we get to that time of year. One of them was Miracle on 34th Street. The other day I set that aside to watch.
Pop Culture Junkie said, just checked. The price of the Starbucks cup ranges from $68,000 to $50,000 on eBay. Hundreds on sale. I have ghastly memories of the Beanie Baby craze.
Yeah. Or Tickle Me Elmo.
That
was a big one. People in the chat will know. Tickle Me Elmo was a very big deal when I was, I guess I was a kid.
Corey Anderson said, perks of working at Starbucks. Sucks to suck. MegMac2301.
I wonder if the employee's like, you know what, my job sucks. I hate my life. The best. It's not even about the cup. They're like, I'm not buying this for me. I'm buying it so you can't have it.
It's about revenge. And I support them in that. Shane H. Wilder said it's an effing bear cup. Bitch, be cray cray. Yeah. Yeah, she needs help. Corey Anderson said, my first job was McDonald's. Around the time they were doing those limited edition Beanie Babies were in Happy Meals. Workers would just grab them and sell them.
Yep, my mom had so many of them. I also had the cups from the Batman movies, from Batman Returns, and also from Batman Forever.
I bet the McDonald's toys suck now. Corey Anderson said, Olivia, get Brett that belt for Christmas. Let's go.
Bro, I don't know who you think has like $600 to spare, but it ain't her and it ain't me. Like, yeah, we don't got the money for that.
That's a lot.
Like, that's a lot of money for one gift.
Could you resell it for like twice as much?
No, I don't think so.
You're like the only person who wants it.
No, a lot of people have them, but the thing is, like, it's even harder to justify because I'm not like a diehard wrestling fan who watches the product. I listen to wrestling podcasts, but it's mainly just nostalgia. It's the reason I would buy the Dragon Dagger or the white sword that the White Ranger had at that time, you know, because I had the white, I had it when I was a kid. Also, I had a Thundercats sword when I was a kid that I lost, and I spent like 6 years combing my grandparents' house trying to find again, and I've still never been able to find the comparable version of it on eBay.
Cancel Lincoln, the betrayal of 1776, said Sydney Sweeney is too young and too new to transition into her Matthew McConaughey True Detective, I'm a serious actor now phase. Stick to the hot blonde roles for now, then try to be serious in 10 years, Toots. Hi, guys. Hi.
I think she was going to take you seriously until you dropped that Toots in there at the end. Then she's like, you know what?
I think that she has already made up her mind about this, clearly. I don't think that she has any intentions of taking on like quirky rom-com lighthearted roles.
Yeah.
She wants to be an art nerd. And that's her prerogative. I guess if she can manage to make her money with brand deals, it is what it is.
I subsidize my art nerd habit with Dunkin' Donuts and white supremacist jean ads.
Right. And Corey Anderson said, making out is underrated. People should do it more in their private lives. Sometimes that is all you need.
You should put that on a t-shirt.
Corey Anderson said Mary could sneak a 7-course meal into the movies.
She could find a way.
I would.
She's like, at one point, she's going to actually buy a second chair, the seat next to her, so that she can...
Because most of the time I carry a backpack instead of a purse, so I could just empty out my entire backpack and fit, like, a family meal into it.
Yeah.
Pop Culture Junkie said, had a friend who modified a reinforced AMC popcorn bag to bring various food into a movie, a backpack, used it many times.
It's impressive.
Good for him. Shane H. Wilder said, Mary sits down in the theater and pulls out the fine china and cutlery to have a 3-course meal and a bottle of wine. You got to respect her game. Yeah. And I think I'm totally valid in that, and I'm not going to stop. Arrest me.
Yeah.
Take me to jail. Shane H. Wilder said, a selling point of the Stanley Cup was that it kept drinks hot or cold. But any man who has ever used a Stanley thermos has known this for a century. Yeah, I think there was actually a practical reason for me to own the Stanley, but I'm not quite convinced to spend $70 on a new one. So I'm going to stick with Hello Kitty for now. Greg Duvier said Fubbies were also a toy people went crazy for?
Furbies.
It says Fubbies. I don't know.
Well,
there's some other thing called a Fubby that I never heard of.
Furbies were just creepy looking gremlin things.
Why did anyone ever want a Furby? Is that the proto-Labubu?
Kind of. I mean,
I don't get it.
Except its eyes moved and it was creepy and it said stuff to you.
Greg Duvier said the right lane is for crime, correct? Not correct. The right lane is not for crime. Please don't do that.
You shouldn't pass on the right. That's a bad idea.
Do we have any rumbles?
We are all cut. Oh, we got one here from is it Gian Key? I don't know how to pronounce, or is it, unless it's Gian Key. I have a broken Kickle Me Elmo in my shed. Maybe one day it will be revived. Yeah, you should put it together.
Broken because you kicked it?
I think it just means it stopped working because they had it for so long.
The Kickle Me Elmo is the one that you kicked.
Yes, that would be that one. All right, guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you've not subscribed here yet already. Mary, where can they find you?
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived. And help me get TikTok famous. That is also Mary Archived.
Perfect. If you guys want to follow me, I am on Instagram and X at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. We are here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, of course, noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than just watch this podcast, you can also rate and review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, which is another great way to help the channel out. If you want to follow us on social media, we're on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, we will be back.
We forgot to end the poll, though.
No, I did. It was 72% did hot coffee. I did it earlier.
Oh, okay. I didn't even
hot
notice.
coffee.
I disagree.
Yeah, me too. Me and you are both the opposite of that. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, go get your hot coffee. Go get your iced coffee. We'll be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.